Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paolo De Rosario.
And to give you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite sports icons and athletes, hello, I'm Boom Gonzalez, and you can watch the game live and our past episodes on demand on the Pilipinas Live app for just 149 pesos a month, available for download on Google Play or the App Store.
Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Well, the PVL All-Filipino Conference had us at the edge of our seats with some exciting games and remarkable player performances yesterday. Joining us to break down all the action is the most well-traveled volleyball analyst in the PVL, Jamie Lavitoria. How's it feel to be back?
We have her live. We have her live out of her birthday dress.
Yes.
In town and ready to go.
Oh my goodness. If it's not in Ilocos Sur, it's in Santa Rosa, you're
Great job,
everywhere.
though. Great
Absolutely.
job.
Thank you.
For going around town
Yes.
and giving us the game.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
All right, so speaking of the games, let's talk about first the Choco Mucho Flying Titans because they seem like a team that has finally found their confidence, found their groove. What stands out for you?
Well, after playing in the VTV Cup, they definitely boosted that confidence. And you have to look at the efficiency of Dina Wong's sets. They're more consistent to CC Rondina, who does not like sets that are off the net. She wants it low and tight. And also, they have a lot of weapons. Caitlin Varai actually started yesterday. Kat Tolentino actually started
The other game.
against
Yeah.
Signal.
Correct,
So Coach Dante is really basing it off, I think, the blockers, I believe, their opponent.
But even when Kat Tolentino started the other day, she did very, very well.
Against Signal.
Against
Yes.
Signal, right? So, in terms of the lineup, now without Des
Yeah.
Cheng, unfortunately, it was great to see her there, though,
Yes.
supporting. What will you see in terms of trying to sustain what they have now started? They are 3-1, if I'm not
Yes.
mistaken,
Yeah.
Jamie.
Well, Des Cheng, not only did she help in the scoring department, but her receive is what is needed. Isa Molde definitely has to step up, and Reg Arocha, who actually started yesterday.
Yeah.
Correct.
So we need some consistency with the first ball.
Yeah, the consistency has to be there for sure. But I want to focus on CC again because the fact of the matter is, we all know what she could do. We all have seen what she has done, but it feels like she's rounded out her game even more now. Feels like we're seeing her in more statistical categories. It seems like she's all over the floor as per usual, but then even more effective than before.
That's right. Based on her invitational conference, I think she was slowly still getting in her groove, and now she's up to par with all the other spikers. And you can see that Dina Wong actually gives her majority of the sets, which is also boosting her confidence too.
Yeah, just to give the audience, what Paolo was also talking about, 5th best spiker, 9th best blocker, 6th best server, 9th best receiver. And, these numbers sometimes don't tell the story also because you have to see her play.
Yeah.
And you have to see her all-around value to this team to understand, how great of a player she's become.
Yes.
That is just beyond the spiking.
Yeah.
Right, Jamie? It's not just that
The
anymore.
blocking
Yes.
is what amazes me because she's such a small.
The leap.
Yeah, it's a leap, right? So it's small in stature, pero grabe talaga the way what she can cover.
Her skill set is beyond. She is very good, like you said, on blocking, but in terms of defense, because the Choco Mucho Flying Titans, before, you would have a difficult time of stabilizing the first ball.
Yeah.
And they actually do target
They
CC
target her,
Rondina
of
all the
course.
time.
Yeah, just like they target, the Tots Carloses of the
Gretschel,
world.
Vanny
Gretschel,
Gandler.
Correct, okay. Whom we will get to in a bit. But first, the other team, and we talked about them 2 days ago, Paolo, and again, they continue to roll, and again, they continue to win without dropping sets. Petrogas
Oh my
Angels,
gosh.
who, by the way, look, I don't know if I can say it, but they looked bad yesterday with those black
Yes.
uniforms. I love it,
And it's
Jamie.
long sleeve.
I
It's
love
long
them.
sleeve
Yeah,
here.
I
Yeah.
love them. But talk about the Petrogas Angels and what they're doing.
Well, I had the pleasure of covering that match, 3 sets. All I have to say is the veterans are really doing their job. And they were going up against the #1 blocking team, F2 Logistics, and Ivy Laxina, who is who was the #1 blocker prior to the match. So you see that Cheng was really maximizing her middle blockers and avoiding and silencing Ivy Laxina in the blocking department.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me. It's not really the undefeated record. It's more of the fact that they haven't conceded a set yet.
I know.
In those 4 games, and they play good teams as well. Teams that could steal a set from them at the very least. Just what is happening to this Petrogas team, and why are we not talking about them enough?
You know, I've covered their past 2 games. They're very consistent, very steady, and you can base a good team off of their setter. I always give kudos to Cheng, really maximizing her spikers.
So good. And of course, they've made some additions, some low-key additions to this team that have made major impact to them, and we'll talk about them later. But Jamie, you know Coach Timmy very well.
Yes.
You know Coach Mona very well. What has been the imprint of Coach Timmy and the rest of the coaching staff here now taking care of this Petrogas Angels team?
Well, we talked about this on the game yesterday, and Coach Timmy did say that it's actually smooth sailing for them because they are veterans. And I think based on the system, which was from Coach Oliver Almadre before, Coach Timmy doesn't have to make too much adjustments, only because his team kind of has that mindset of, been there, done that. I've already experienced this type of environment and type of play, and you can really see it in their match yesterday.
No disrespect to Coach Timmy and Mona and Coach O, and we've said this on the show many times before. Petrogas really is a team, probably the only team other than Creamline that can probably survive without a coach.
Yeah.
They're fine without a coach.
When we say that, we joke about it, but let's say they play 2 to 3 games without a coach, they're just so into their system that...
Intact. They're really intact.
It's intact.
All right, so the question now is not which team will beat them first. Which team will take a first set? Which team will take a set against them?
I have 2 choices.
All right.
The Creamline Smashers.
Can't wait for that showdown.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be
it
great.
Could be Cherry Tigo, who they play tomorrow. I chose Cherry Tigo because those group of girls are really feisty. They are multi-awarded UAP players, and you can see in their game that they're improving after every game. You have Nabor, you have Cagante, you have great setters who really maximize their spikers.
Yeah, remember, this is to take a set.
Just take 1 set.
All right.
Like I said, but Creamline and Petrogas has always delivered classics, even
5
in the
sets.
finals,
5
setters, so we wouldn't be surprised about that. But the PLDT high-speed hitters is another team that you want to talk about. We've always, in previous conferences, said that there was something lacking. Maybe that ad-lib scorer, that go-to player. Now they have it. What has changed with PLDT with that element of having the go-to player?
Well, before it was actually Jovi Prado, and now we have Davison. PLDT they needed that go-to spiker that would get points, because most of the time you have attackers that make attempts but lacking in points, and Davison, you can see that she's slowly adjusted to the Philippine volleyball, and Rhea, who had 20 excellent sets.
Crazy the other day.
Perfect game. Perfect game.
You mentioned Savannah. Again, she's also in multiple statistical categories. 9th best spiker, 7th best blocker, 8th best server, and 7th best receiver. Do you feel that she's still on an upward trend? Because na-mention mo nga, adjusting to Philippine volleyball, still getting used to everything here. Do you feel that we've yet to see the best of Davison?
I think we can see more from her. It's only been the 3rd week, I believe, in the PVL. And, this tournament is 12 teams. The very long tournament, it ends in December. So there's more that she can do.
And all teams are going to meet each other. I can't wait for the CC versus Savannah.
That would be a good one.
Showdown. But since you expounded on CC, expound on Savannah. What makes her special, and what do you think? Because when you look at her, when you cover her live, you see she's an athlete.
She's so fit.
She is so built.
So fit.
It's crazy. But other than that, she can do finesse. She is, she's a thinking player. What, in your eyes, what makes her a complete package for?
Well, not only in the scoring department, but I believe a team always needs like a emotional leader. With F2, you have Abby Marano. Even if you're down, you still need that uplifting player. And Savannah, you can see that she gives her teammates that look, like, guys, let's get to it. Like, let's not play games here, let's win. And I think that's the missing link that the high-speed hitters have always needed on their team.
Nakakuha sa tingin eh. No? That
It's
type
the
of
glare.
leadership.
It's the
Nahihiya
glare.
pa yan, ha?
Yeah.
Nahihiya pa yan.
It's the look.
Absolutely. You're not going anywhere because we have a lot more to talk about.
That's right. A lot more volleyball, of course, because after the break, we'll talk about dynamic duos in the PVL All-Filipino Conference. Stay tuned. You're watching the game. Welcome back to the game. While we've certainly witnessed some exceptional individual performances, as our guest highlighted earlier,
Yep.
there have been some dynamic duos, though, making their mark on the Taraflex. And still with us to talk about these power tandems, our friend, volleyball analyst, jet setter, Jamie Lavitoria.
Wow, that intro. Thank you. I like that.
Setter, bus setter.
Pinaganda ko na nga. Pinaganda ko na. Jamie, okay, let's start with a point that we made in the previous segment where we were saying about Petrogas. They've made some low-key additions and tweaks that have made them, even better. You mentioned Janelle Cheng already. Kahit kanino mo naman i-partner si Janelle, at this point of her career, she's just smooth, she's in control.
Yeah.
But who is making the impact with her right now in Petrogas?
Rania Musa, the middle blocker, in their game yesterday, just in the first set, she had 6 points, which is already very efficient as a middle blocker.
Yeah.
Cheng does a great job of giving only one blocker or even no blocker to her opponent because she had to strategize in terms of avoiding the hands of Ivy Laxina because she is the #1 blocker.
You take a look at the fact that Musa comes in having to fill in a hole the shape of MJ Phillips. And that's always going to be a tough task. How has she filled up that role and, of course, working alongside si Janelle Cheng?
Well, in terms of, if I were to compare them, they're both very quick. But in terms of MJ Phillips, she has that beast mode vibe. But if you look at Rania Musa, she's always smiling, even if she makes a mistake. And I think the Angels need that light on their team. I was watching their demeanor yesterday, and very serious. Gretchen Soltones and also Jonas Sabete.
I can't believe we're saying Gretchen Soltones is serious.
Serious.
But I get what you're saying. She was all business.
Yeah.
Business
It was all
yesterday.
business. You know what? I think also, tell me what you think, Jamie, about the addition of Rania, other than the skills and the fact that they, as Paulo said, created the void by MJ Phillips. There's some youth. Because Petrogas, di ba, they're all vets.
Yeah.
So they haven't had like young recruits in a long time who played regularly. Rania is relatively younger
Yeah.
than a lot of them. Does that make a difference in your opinion?
I think it does because the Petrogas Angels really need that young blood. They have Barbon also, who's the libero, who's
Correct.
the other young player on the team. I think not only, like I said earlier, she doesn't only help in the scoring department, but she uplifts her teammates. She has that demeanor that's very positive, especially during those crunch times. You want to lean to a teammate who is very positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
11 points yesterday.
11
Out of
points.
the 6 you mentioned, a lot of times Janelle was going to her back to back to back.
Not
really
even jump
confusing
setting.
F2, correct?
Yeah.
Not even jump setting.
You know, I can't wait. We should track every time Rania Musa smiles on the floor as well.
A lot of times.
It's really eye-catching. All right, Farm Fresh, moving on. And, of course, we're talking about tandems here.
Of course.
We
I mean,
know who we're talking about. Louis Romero and Trisha Tubu. Trisha Tubu is the second in terms of scoring here so far. And Louis Romero, I forgot how many minutes we've already spent talking about
other day, right?
how
Yeah,
great she
great.
is as a leader, how great she is in terms of what she brings to the team. What about that 1-2 punch?
Well, that tandem, that's been mastered since Adamson days.
Yeah.
And I believe that coming into the PVL, it's important that Louis Romero actually sets her more. I think she needs more sets given to her because she really has that firepower on the right pin. And they still have yet to win a match. But I think I said this before, it's those growing pains that
Yeah.
you have to get through.
34 points against Akari, if I'm not mistaken. And she backs it up with 19 against no less than Creamline in that
Creamline. Great
amazing game, and probably still right now the game of the tournament so far. But here's another thing about Louis that I want your take on. You talked about Janelle and Rania, that's a vet and a young one. You're going to be talking about another vet and a young one later after.
Yeah.
Louis and Trisha, nobody's a vet. Louis just
None.
plays like a
Yes.
vet.
Yeah.
She plays way beyond, her years.
years.
And she is in command of not only Trisha, but the whole team. Jamie, what do you see when she plays?
I remember watching an interview. She said if she actually smiles during a match, they lose. So when I was with her on fan stream, I really asked her, how do you do it?
Yeah.
And she explained that the job of a setter is really to allow your spikers to shine.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main objective of a setter.
I love it.
And I mean, you can see in her game, and of course her idol, of course Gia de
Yeah.
Guzman, and she learned a bit from her as well.
Yeah, it's also interesting to see because apart from the fact making her spikers look good, you can also see their confidence build, and I think
Yes.
we've seen that all
The
throughout.
demeanor, it's really there.
Parang they get it from her, tama, Paolo. They get it from her. Because it was such a different team last year.
Yes.
Yeah, compared to now.
Without her.
Correct.
Yeah, easily. Let's now move on here to Signal because Jel Cayuna and Vanny Gandler, you're mentioning the
Vet
vet
and
and then the younger one. How has this combination worked out for you?
Well, I've been teammates with Vanny in
Yeah.
Ateneo. She was very shy, very intimidated.
I think you're
the
just very
environment.
intimidating. Yeah.
No, I'm so nice.
You probably,
I'm
did
really
you bully
nice.
Vanny, Jamie?
I'm really nice.
Okay,
Come on.
sure.
Come on. No one come after me.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
But just watching her grow and being with a vet setter, with Vanny, she's the type that has the skill set.
Yeah.
She just needs a good setter. And that is Jel Cayuna, giving her many opportunities, just one block in most of the rallies.
Totally breaking out in this.
Yeah.
We saw spurts in the Invitational.
Invitational, yep.
Right? There were a couple of games there that, okay, but now she's totally breaking out here. Did even, well against her good friend, Faith Nisperos,
yes.
in the Signal Akari game, which
Yeah.
they won.
Player of the game as well.
Player of the game, si Vanny, you know her very well. What has allowed her to shine? You told us about the setter, but her individual skills. What has been unlocked by Coach Shaq and this new conference, Vanny, that you did not see when you were here with her?
She's in a environment where she feels she's very comfortable. She's surrounded by veterans. You have Ria Menezes, Bia General, and being in a very comfortable environment and positive environment, I think that is what is helping her.
Yeah, apart from all of that, of course, this being a tandem segment, you also have to talk about Jel Cayuna. And see, Jel has always been one of the steadiest,
Yes.
one of the ones who
setter.
are
Best setter.
Best
setter.
Two-time
Yeah,
best
two-time best setter. And it just feels like helping Vanny out this early in her career could only make her better. Do you feel that you can see that developing?
I see, especially even during the timeouts, I see Jel Cayuna actually talking to Vanny Gandler, giving her some pointers, and that's what the veteran setter needs to give the rookie coming into this PVL.
Jamie, we really appreciate all your thoughts. I know that it's hard to actually get you in Manila. You only prefer everything out of town. We have yet to have an out-of-town show for the game.
We know who to
I'm
call.
there.
We know who to
We
call.
know
I'm
who to
there.
call.
I'm there.
All right, absolutely. Jamie, really appreciate you.
Thank you, Jamie.
Thanks, guys.
So we'll shift to the NBA when we return. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back. You're watching The Game. The NBA is bringing something new and exciting with the inaugural NBA In-Season Tournament that kicks off tomorrow. Golden State Warriors coach Steve Kerr shared his thoughts on the league's brand new competition.
This will be our first time playing with the in-season tournament, and we're very excited about it. I think it's a great idea. Tomorrow will be fun. I know there's going to be a different atmosphere, different court. There will, different uniforms. The league is really putting in something that will be very unique, and I think I give the league a lot of credit. I think the last few years, the play-in tournament has been a great success, and I think it's important to continue to be progressive and forward-thinking with the NBA Cup. So I think the players will enjoy it, and I know the coaches are excited about it. We're not going to treat it like the NBA Finals. I'm not going to play Steph Curry 45 minutes because we have to think of the long-term health of our team, but we definitely want to win, and we're going to be very competitive.
Just broke the hearts of the Steph Curry fans who wanted to see him for 45 minutes. The NBA In-Season Tournament tips off tomorrow, November 4, Philippine time, and will run all the way to December 9. Now, to find out the exciting opening games of the group play stage, let's watch this.
NBA fans, get ready because the first ever NBA In-Season Tournament is about to begin. First, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson lead the Knicks charge against Giannis, new superstar teammate Damian Lillard, and the Bucks. Then, the Joker and his Nuggets begin another historical quest for the NBA Cup when they face Luka, Kyrie, and the Dallas Mavericks. The race to the NBA Cup starts now. Don't miss it.
Again, you can catch tomorrow's opening games on NBA TV Philippines and even more NBA action live and on demand on the Pilipinas Live app. I'm Boom Gonzalez. Thank you for watching.
I'm Paul De Rosario. This has been The Game.